One of the things Cooper, my senior partner, says all the time is like, we want to bring Wall Street to Main Street. Like, how do we go in and get access to all the resources and all the services and all the advice that the 1% have been using to their advantage for the last 100 years, and bring it to people like my family, who were never going to get a call from a private wealth firm, or never going to get a call from whatever professional you want to list. And how do we give them the same resources? How do we level the playing ground here? And I think that's what a lot of people need is, they're just getting the same advice that their parents got, and their parents died broke, and they're on track to do the same thing. And it's just a system that cycles us all through it unless we break the chain.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Open House podcast, hosted by myself, Ben Robitaille, and
Richard Thompson.
And on the Open House, we talk entrepreneurship from every corner of the community to hear people's journeys, the wins that felt amazing, the challenges that broke them, and the lessons they've picked up along the way. This isn't just about business. We dive into the act of, balancing hobbies and running companies while being partners and parents and, having a life outside of, hustle culture, if you will. So without further ado, we have a great guest today. Richard, you want to tell us all about them?
Yeah, I wanted to introduce to the world Shannon Mortson. She's someone that I've come across in my business career, probably as humble and honorable as they come, from a background working in police, doing good things for good people, into a financial role, trying to help the people at the bottom navigate the incredibly difficult world we live in on the financial side. I just happy to have you on here, Shannon. Thanks for joining us. You're a bit of a Robin Hood.
I operate within the law, though, so don't.
Yes, yeah.
But no, thanks for the intro. I'm excited to be here and chat with you guys and just kind of get into the deep.
Sweet. I think the best way we can get a handle on who you are as a person, obviously I know a bit more than everybody else, but give us some core values. I think you do have some great core values, so I always like to break on that, and a little bit of how you ended up in the industry you're in.
Sure. Yeah. I think one of my biggest core values has always been integrity in everything that you do, whether that's in personal relationships, in business, doing what you say that you're going to do, and doing it right has always been a thing. My wife always jokes that I'm a very strict rule follower, and I think that probably comes from having a background in the policing world where there are very strict rules and procedures, and so I think I've carried a little bit of that into my just other parts of my life. Yeah, integrity is a huge one for me, and I really love building a business on relationships too, and trust and loyalty, and I think it's sort of a lost art now in the world that we're in, that there's a lot of, how do I just make a quick buck? What's the fastest thing? What's the most efficient? What saves me the most money, or whatever? And relationships kind of get lost along the way. And that's something that I value a lot when it comes to obviously business, but just in my life in general. As far as my background is concerned, yeah, as I was saying to Ben earlier, I went to school for criminology up in North Bay at Nipissing University, stuck around there, did a master's in sociology, was all systems go towards the policing world. And that's what I ended up doing for a little while. I got a job as a police dispatcher doing 911 dispatch. I did that for a few years out of school. And there's a lot of things I loved about it. Don't get me wrong. It was an exciting job, very, very interesting job. But shift work is not great for your body.
It's gotta be heavy at times, no? Like emotionally?
Yeah.
I would imagine with the kind of calls you would get.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times it's you don't really realize that you're starting to carry a lot of that until later. They talk a lot about compassion fatigue in that field, where it's like you just get inundated all day long with everyone else's crises, and you're managing it and you're moving on, and you kind of have to rinse repeat quickly, and then you walk out, you're just like emotionally exhausted. And I didn't really realize that until I was into it a little bit further, but yeah, still a great job. I have a lot of respect for the people that are still doing it. I still have some friends that are in the field, but for me, I was seeing kind of just the battles with shift work being a struggle. My wife's a teacher as well, so our schedules didn't line up very easily. Missed a lot of Christmases, missed a lot of birthdays and things like that. And I just started to look around and take stock of is this what I want the next 30 years of my life to look like? Is working at night, always being a little bit stressed, being a little bit more jaded than I'd like to be. And the answer was no.
Too relatable.
And at
Fair.
the
Can you understand that, Ben? We're very similar feeling about our jobs.
Just a wee bit, yes.
yeah, it's I think a lot of people that end up in entrepreneurship in some fashion kind of can relate to that of just realizing like I don't want this, whatever this is, whether it's being told what to do, where to be on time, or some other factor of being an employee. I think a lot of people who kind of are like us just realize like I don't want this anymore. And so I was kind of trying to figure out what to do. Obviously, like everything I'd been doing up until that point in my life was about getting to this point in policing, getting maybe going to the road, staying in this kind of world. And so I was a little bit unsure of what I wanted to do. So I kind of just kept going. And around that time, a really good friend of mine passed away, like really suddenly from a longboarding accident. And, young guy, super healthy. It was just like a freak accident that happened. And I watched his family like struggle to deal with that and have to rely on a GoFundMe just to pay for a funeral and still have to get up and go to work in the morning because I still have bills to pay and other kids at home and things like that. And I I just kind of started taking stock of like this is a system that's really wrong. Like there's something going on here where like people are at the most devastating moment in their life, and the answer to how to get through it financially is either take on debt or just hope that the generosity of other people will help you through it. And I good friend of mine that I was in school with was in the industry at the time. He was working in finance, dealing with insurance, dealing with investments, and we just got talking. And I was like, yeah, like I need to get some insurance. I thought I was invincible at 25, but apparently I'm not. And I just started sort of kind of realizing, yeah, that was going to be important. And then as I started seeing like what he was able to do for me, and then what the mission of his team was for just making an impact in the community and helping people that have traditionally been forgotten about by the rest of the financial industry, it just kind of like flipped a switch in me, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to step into this space. I want to help people. I've always wanted to help people, and it's just a different way of doing that. So it's kind of the beginning of that journey for me. Started part-time, got my license, and then eventually transitioned over a couple of years ago now.
I like that consistency, the consistency of just wanting to help people no matter what you're doing. If you can follow a passion, we talked about this on another episode, but just being able to follow your passion, and if it overall involves helping people succeed or find happiness, that is, who wouldn't want to go to work every day doing that? So, whether it's through a bad situation like you had with your friend there to make you realize, or some other things like Cooper is who you're talking about, someone like that to influence you. That's kind of what we hope this podcast does, is those little tidbits help people find their way on helping other people.
For sure.
What would you say to like, the average person in public who hasn't thought about insurance, hasn't, done any planning? Like where would you get someone to start?
So like every client you get right now, Shannon, what do you say?
For every client. Yeah, I think with most people, the reason a lot of people don't take steps forward in one area or another is there's just a lot of like uncertainty. Like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. You talk about saving for the future, you talk about insurance, whatever the topic is. And there's just like, if you Google it, there's a bajillion different answers and opinions and so on. So for a lot of people, it really just comes down to like, sit down with someone you trust and have them take a look at everything all at once. And that's typically what we do is we'll take a 30,000 foot view of someone's financial situation, from their income to their expenses, their debt, their investments, their insurance, all that kind of stuff at the same time. And it gives you a bit of a starting point of just like, well, where am I at? Right? Because there's a ton of people out there. I was looking at some research on the stuff that I sent to you guys. Like there's like 20, I think they said 26% of people that are unretired right now expect to keep working into retirement because they don't think they'll be able to retire at all. It's a lot of fear of people just being like, I don't really know where I am. I don't know if I'm on track for what I want, whether that's like long-term retirement, or I just want to buy my first house, or I just want to pay for a wedding, or whatever. A lot of people just have this unsettling feeling of like, I don't even know where I'm at. I don't know if I'm doing well. I don't know if I'm not. I don't know what I should be doing. And then you kind of get that like decision fatigue, and people just panic and freeze.
I think you might have just described me to a T, Shannon.
A lot of us,
Um,
honestly.
Right. We should talk sometime. I might send you an email after this.
That'd be a good call to make, I think, Ben, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe even refer our
Yeah.
parents to Shannon as well.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I think our parents are at that age.
Yeah.
I even worry about my dad. I'm like, Dad, what's your retirement plan? And he's like a factory worker all his life, just a man, 50-year-old man. And he's just like, I don't know. We're going to keep working 65. I'm like, Dad, you're complaining to me about your body falling apart. How are you going to do this for 10 more years? This doesn't make sense. There's just no plan.
So as you get to know me, Ben, and I think Richard, you're already starting to know this, I'm a bit of a nerd, especially when it comes to like statistics and stuff. Like I
Love it.
I
Okay.
did some research. I had to do some big papers and research and stuff when I was in school, and I kind of fell in love with like, show me the proof and the numbers and how it makes sense. And it's funny you say that, Richard, and just what you just mentioned about your parents. Like the study I was referring to earlier was done by Hoop, which is the medical pension company for like nurses and stuff in Ontario.
One of the
They
biggest, I
did a
think,
study
in Canada, right?
Yeah, it's massive, massive company. So they did a study in 2024. They surveyed a whole bunch of Canadians and just got opinions and so on about retirement. 40% of the people they surveyed that were between 55 and 64 had less than $5,000 in savings looking into retirement.
I will say in the bank, working in the bank for so long, that is 100% true. Like you have people coming in and they're like, I'm going to have CPP and OAS, and that's all they have planned. And it's just, you can't live off that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it comes down, like, you know, people have different opinions of why stuff like that happens. And we're all obviously people that are free to make our own decisions. And some people just make bad decisions along the way. But I think for most people, they're doing all the right things, right? They got the job, they got the house, they got the car, and they paid off their car. They tried to, or whatever. And they're kind of checking all the boxes that we think that we're supposed to check when we come out of high school. And they just find themselves in a situation where they're like, I can't get ahead. I either can't get ahead of my bills, or I'm trying to save, but the advice I've been given is not really helping me do that. And I think a lot of it just comes down to a lack of education on how these systems work, how they're meant to work, who they're meant to work for, and how to access a lot of that. One of the things Cooper, my senior partner, says all the time is like, we want to bring Wall Street to Main Street. Like, how do we go in and get access to all the resources and all the services and all the advice that the 1% have been using to their advantage for the last 100 years, and bring it to people like my family, who were never going to get a call from a private wealth firm, or never going to get a call from whatever professional you want to list. And how do we give them the same resources? How do we level the playing ground here? And I think that's what a lot of people need. Is, you know, they're just getting the same advice that their parents got, and their parents died broke, and they're on track to do the same thing. And it's just a system that cycles us all through it unless we break the chain. And you guys cut in there anytime. I'm gonna rant if you let me go. But
Right.
You're passionate.
So, I mean, I feel like I know the answer to this question, but do you feel like this education should be taking place in schools, or like
Absolutely.
what's the best avenue to yeah,
I think it should be in school. Like I said, my wife's a teacher, and she's like, yeah, she's an elementary school teacher, mind you. I think it should probably be a high school thing. But, you know, I think back to like math classes I took in high school and various other classes, and there wasn't a lot that was like really gearing us up to face the real world. Like, I don't really need to know trigonometry. I need to know how to do my taxes. I need to know the difference between a TFSA and an RRSP and all these different acronyms that we have in the financial world that people, you know, that aren't in our space are like, I don't know how that works. I just walked into the bank and said I wanted to save for retirement and put money.
I think we all have that same, like we've all come from the same education system pretty much, right? So we all kind of can relate to that. And I think it made our 20s, at least I can speak for myself. I was fortunate to work at the bank at 19, so I think I had a bit of an advantage, but there was a lot of hiccups and issues that came up in my 20s that could have been avoided if I just was given a little bit of a heads up. And I was kind of like, I came from lower middle class parents. They didn't, you know, they only had so much they could give me. And so kind of just let down. But I think there is a huge need for that. My clients say it all the time. I'm sure you guys hear it all the time, that it's in demand. So why isn't that happening? Like there's something there.
I mean, and I think there's a bit of a praying thing that happens too. Cause I mean, I remember walking in, Frosh Week, first week of university, and there's like 3 booths set up with like people wanting to sign you up for a credit card to get a free blanket that you may or may not have really wanted. And you signed up for one and forgot about it for 4 years. Right. It's like kind of funny. I still have the blanket. It's right over there, but
It was a real story we didn't even know.
Like, right. It's like one of those things like came out of high school. I knew nothing about nothing. I knew I had a checking account. I know I got a credit card to go to university. Didn't really know how to use it. Didn't know what, should I pay it off every month? Should I rack up some debt? Like, what should I do? Also, like, newfound sense of freedom, and it makes for a bumpy start. Yeah.
How about you tell Shannon how you manage your paychecks now, Ben?
Our good old friend ChatGPT.
Guy puts his commission check into ChatGPT to tell him what to do with his money.
Yes. So which I think reinforces the point that Shannon, you and I should probably talk.
There's probably a lot of people doing that nowadays, I would assume.
For sure there is. Yeah, it's one of the most frustrating things. So I rewind a little bit. When I was still in university, I spent a couple summers working at a bank as a teller, which is the irony of all ironies, because I was like, I will never work in this industry again after what I saw working there, because of exactly what you were just saying. But of like, I remember it was always like, hey, if someone, puts their card in, puts their PIN in to do whatever they're doing at the wicket, and it pops up that they've been pre-approved for like a credit card or a line of credit, like you're supposed to encourage them to get it. And I always felt so icky about that, because I'm like, well, what if this is like like you say, Ben, like an 18-year-old who has no idea how debt works, no idea how interest rate works, and they're going to go, I get like $5,000 of free money? Sick. Right? No,
we're going out tonight. Yeah.
We're not providing them any education on, hey, here's how this works. Here's, why you should be careful with it, whatever. It's just like, hey, you've been pre-approved. Isn't that exciting? Here's your credit card. Have a nice day. And when you default on payments in a couple of months, we'll call you.
I've got a nasty story for that, actually. Same relating to that. I had a first manager when I worked in the bank. She was always pushing for those same pre-approvals. Doesn't matter what the pre-approval is. Doesn't matter the client, anything about them. You just offer it, right? Just forward. Here you go. And again, being a young kid, I just kind of do what I'm told. But morally, I was like, this doesn't seem right. And so I started pushing back. Or I wouldn't offer it. And she'd be like, why didn't you have this conversation with this guy? And I'd be like, he's 18. I don't think he needs overdraft. Like, it doesn't seem like it's going to bring value to his life. He's going to get himself stuck in a hole. You see people in it all the time. And she says, well, let me put it this way. If you don't give him overdraft, maybe he can't eat. And I'm like, that is such a sick mentality. That's what they're trying to tell me to make me sell this product. It was awful. Just not morally a good place.
Something I realized, and don't get me wrong, we need banks around for a lot of things, but there was something I realized not that long ago, actually. I was talking to some of my colleagues about this, and just like what's the purpose of the banks? And we just got chatting about it, and I'm like, who are the banks really loyal to? Their depositors or their shareholders? Well, it's their shareholders. That's who they owe all of their loyalty to, because that's who cares about, obviously they want great rate of return and so on and so forth. When you think about it and you think about like, hey, am I gonna walk into the bank and ask for advice? Are they going to be able to give me unbiased advice to actually help me in the future that I want to build for myself and my family? Or are they thinking in the back of their head, hey, I got to hit a quota this month because I'm got my managers, breathing down my neck because they have their boss breathing down their neck and they have shareholders breathing down their neck. And that really just rubbed me the wrong way. When you start looking at the amount of debt that Canadians carry versus those same Canadians looking at trying to save for the future and struggling to do so. It's like, well, if you're getting sold a 3% GIC as if that's the way to retirement and you're paying 19% on a credit card, you're losing every time. And until you can get in a position where you can start to turn that around a little bit, get your money working for you better when you are able to save and get a plan in place to get rid of the debt that you have so that you don't have to have that weighing on you, it's always just going to cycle around and around and around. And I see it every day. And it makes my blood boil, for sure.
So just to get some clarity for maybe our listeners who don't have a full view of what you do. Pretend I am like a fourth grader. I now I'm reading at like a fifth, sixth level now. But can you, in the simplest of terms, explain kind of like what you do and how you do it?
Yeah, so I work with an independent brokerage. I have my license in insurance and investments. So we do like life insurance, critical illness, disability, all that kind of stuff on one side, and then we can deal in investments on the other. So everything from TFSAs to RESPs and RSPs and everything else kind of in that space. And so basically what we do, if I'm meeting with a client for the first time or a potential client for the first time, we start by doing what's called a financial needs analysis. And we break that down into 6 areas of someone's financial situation. We look at their budget, so their income and expenses. We look at their debt. We look at if they have an emergency fund. We look at insurance, making sure if they need it, they have what they should have. We look at building wealth, so investing and saving for the future. And then we look at wealth preservations, kind of into retirement, what happens once you start pulling from that money, and if you pass away, where does it go? And so we have an intake form, we walk people through it and get a general sense of where they're at currently. And then we talk about like their goals for the future. So be like, hey, Ben, I see that you've got kids. You mentioned that you really want to save for their future. I don't know if you're married, but maybe that's something you're like, hey, I want to save for a wedding. I want to save for a house, or really love this car. That's a huge priority for me. I don't know. Whatever people's priorities are. And then we take their current situation where they're at, and we take a look at where they want to go. Are you on track for it? Yes or no? And is there anywhere in those 6 areas of your life that we can tweak it a little bit to get you on track? So if it's an emergency fund that you're like, hey, look, I barely pay my bills every month, and I've got 50 grand worth of consumer debt, and I'm just trying to stay on top of payments right now. Is there some partnerships that we can pull in that can help with debt relief and free up some cash so that you can start saving for the future? Or if you're like, hey, I got a house and 3 kids, and if I passed away tomorrow, my family can't pay the mortgage. So, okay, we need to make sure that there's proper insurance in place and things like that. So, yeah, basically that's kind of in a short form what we do. We're independent, so we don't have any like products or anything ourselves. There's no such thing as like a WFG like insurance policy or anything, but we're contracted with about a little over 100 different investment insurance companies that we can pull in and access for our clients.
And so a bit of maybe a taboo question, but I think we should talk openly about so how does your like fee structure work for somebody coming in? Is
Sure.
it like, are they paying you directly, or is it commission, or?
So we don't charge our clients for anything that we do. So because we are a brokerage, we take our income as commissions from the product partners that we work with. So for example, if I've got a client that's like, hey, look, I've got 40 grand sitting in a Lira from my old job. It was a pension payout. It's been sitting there, not really doing anything. I'd like you to try and see if we can get it, invested in some better stuff. Great, no problem. We go find something that's going to get them where they need to be, better rate of return, stronger funds, and we can move that money over to a company like Equitable or IA or one of the different companies that we work with. And then we manage that account for them. So we're the advisor on file. And then that company pays us a commission for basically bringing the business in and continuing to manage it. So none of and same on the insurance side, if we put a policy in place for somebody, whatever insurance company we go through to do that pays us a commission for the policy that's been put in force. And then on an ongoing basis every year that it stays in force. So it's like an incentive for us to make sure it's properly managed and taken care of, not just at the beginning, but then ongoing later on as well. So that to me is something I really love, because it allows us to do something like that financial needs analysis I was talking about for free. We sit down, we take a look at somebody's situation. Yeah. We can give them our review of it. Here's where you're at. Here's where we think we can make some adjustments to help you. If that's suitable for you, let's go ahead and try and get you in touch here. And if not, then at least you've got kind of a blueprint of where you're at. We don't have to charge for that.
That's really cool. Because I feel like, in basically all our separate industries, like real estate, mortgage, and insurance and investments, like if you're looking to build like a long-term, like long-lasting business, right? It needs to be more about less about okay, how do I, sell you a product, grab the commission now, and then probably never see you again, versus the life cycle of my clients. I think on average, somebody moves every 10 to 15 years, right? So
Yep.
if I want to, build a relationship, hopefully have you call me 10 to 15 years down the road when you're ready to move again, right? It's less about, what's the short-term, gain in commission, if you will,
Yep.
versus like the long-term feasibility for the business. I mean, I think it comes down to like, if you're treating people well, you're going to have a nice, healthy business over the long term.
I
100%.
think there's the investment products that you sell. There is fees in those like MERs and things like that that the clients would pay. So if that kind of explains that to you, Ben, that Shannon would do her best to disclose these or has to disclose these to their clients that those are the fees. So that's how the companies are making money. And then Shannon is getting paid by the company. Same as I get paid from the lender to find a mortgage for someone and send it to them. I feel like our industries are kind of interesting like that because Shannon is going to see her clients every single year, probably for a financial review, right? You're on top of it all the time. And then I'm seeing them every 5 years on a renewal, roughly 3 to 5 years. And then you're seeing them every potentially 5 to 10 years or even longer. We all,
Yeah. I mean, we stay in touch in between. Come on. But yes.
Oh yeah, we see your emails. We know you stay in touch.
Purposes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. I like that.
Yeah.
When I met with Shannon for the first time, she introduced me to WFG. So World Financial Group is the company that she's working under, or like who she works with. And their vision is, I think Cooper brings a little bit of his own vision. He kind of leads their team from my understanding. And their vision is rock solid, just wanting to help the average person be financially stable, have a future, be prepared, be aware, educated. That's, as you know, Ben, like where I stand on a lot of things. So it was nice. We connected really well on that. That's why I had to have her on the podcast because it's just a vision that can't share enough.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And yeah, so it's kind of neat where you don't see this a lot in the traditional like financial industry. You see a lot of banks and corporations, and we operate a little bit more like real estate does. Like you've got Remax as like an overarching broker, but then in Barrie you could have any number of different Remax brokers that have their own office and their own team running their thing, and that's very much how a WFG works. We have a back office and a support system from corporate, and then we have our brokerage and what we're looking to do here locally, in largely in Simcoe County, and obviously in Ontario, largely kind of beyond that. But it's really exciting, and I love what we get to do because of that. Super neat.
You guys touch on a lot of people. I want to take this in a bit of a different direction, just because we love our partners and everything. What is a perfect weekend for you and your wife? If you guys have a full weekend, what is something that you guys are getting up to?
Oh man, we absolutely love getting away from the house. We have 2 golden retrievers, and anytime we can take them out into like the forest as far away from people as possible, we love that. Like I love just getting out there, phones away. We can connect and talk and breathe in nature and let our dogs run around and find mud puddles we didn't know were there and all sorts of things like that. Is
I need to know names.
kind of a dream. Coconut or Coco, and the younger one is Archie. Yeah.
Sorry, Artie?
Archie.
Archie. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I have a golden named Doug. We should get together.
Love it. This is an old picture of Archie, but this is when he was like just after we got him.
Oh, stop.
The first time he had a back.
My goodness.
It's like a little like spiky fro going on it. It's really nice. I'd bring them in the
peanut.
They'd be very, very disruptive. So
Goldens in mud sound like wow.
It's hard to go for sorry, go ahead.
No, I say it's impressive. Like they have like a sense for it. It could be the driest day in July, and Coco takes off in the forest and then comes back a completely different color. And I'm like, how?
Oof.
Nice.
It's also I think it's hard to go for a walk with a golden and be like introverted.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know but your guys there, but they my dog walks around like he owns the neighborhood, and it's awful. Like if you're like in a grumpy mood and you're just like, oh, I want to get this walk over with, you got to say hi to everyone.
Yeah. You can't be in a hurry either. You
That's
have
good.
to and say hi to everyone for sure. And
yeah, no, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, I know you're a big nature lover. I like that a lot. I think there's just something about it's just human to be out there in the wilderness and when you're with your partner. I think
Mhm.
shutting your phone off, and we've talked about this before, just shutting your phone off and being present and being in those conversations. It's actually time you don't get a lot
Mhm.
of. So it's invaluable.
Yeah, bringing it back to kind of the entrepreneurship conversation of it all, I think that's a big thing that was a learning curve for us. I'd be interested to hear from you guys if it was similar for you, where in my old job, when I left and came home, I was at home. And when I was at work, I was at work, and there wasn't really a lot of crossover from that. Whereas, obviously, being able to work remotely, work from home, work at different times is awesome for the flexibility. But it was definitely an adjustment to realize, like, hey, I still need to be able to put my phone down and carve out time where this is not work time. If I'm sitting on the couch with my wife watching America's Got Talent or something on an evening, and my phone goes off, like I can leave that email to the morning and not bring that to our time. I think it was a big adjustment for me to start learning, like, hey, where are my boundaries, even just with my business outside of working hours. When is it okay, and when do I need to put my phone down and realize that can be taken care of tomorrow morning or something else. um, yeah, definitely big adjustment there.
Hard when you care what you do and you're passionate and you have clients that are reaching out for your help and your advice. You want to just give it, right? Like you just want to be there, but there's that other person that supports you every day. That's your partner, and you got to give them the time. It's just too important. Ben, I don't know if we've ever really talked about that. How do you practice that on your side? Or do you?
Yeah, there's this, I don't know if you guys have it in our industry where people talk about speed to lead, right? Lead comes in, you want to, like, if you can respond in the first 5 minutes, the likelihood of converting that lead goes way up, right? And that's great at 9:30 on a Friday night when I'm probably already in bed because I'm an old man at heart. But yeah, I think it's interesting. Like, I rarely, like, I don't do any cold calling or anything like that because I'm going to say, like, our generation kind of values that boundary in people's time and giving people an opportunity to respond when they're able to. So I know, like, cold calling has never sat well with me for that reason. And for the same reason, it's probably a big faux pas for real estate. But if I'm getting a call from, a number I don't know, or, on a non-urgent matter, anytime after, like, even like, I would say like 4 or 5 o'clock at night and my family's home and we're like making dinner, I'm probably not going to answer it, or I'm going to wait for you to send me a text and then maybe answer it when I have a free moment, or wait till the next day. And that's a hard thing to do when, especially when you're new and you're like, okay, I need to sell a house soon if I want to, keep eating and showering
Just a
with
little
hot
pressure.
water. Right. Yeah. There's definitely a balancing act. And I think, that working with, like, I'm going to say the good clients, they're going to understand that. They're going to understand that you're a human being with, like, other things going on in your life.
Or you've created for yourself, and that's what you're attracting, right? You want to deal with, that's the beauty of entrepreneurship too, is you deal with the clients you want to deal with. It's not like, from my understanding, working at the bank, where I was just, you're forced to deal with whoever walks through the door, right? Like that's the beauty of it. And once you have kids too, that just takes it to another level, because they're only their age for so long. The time is limited. You have to be present. They are needy too. So there's not as much freedom to go about your business. At least I'm learning that.
Right. Yeah. And I'm sensitive, so don't be mean to me. If you're mean to me, I don't want to work with you.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one other thing I wanted to touch on, Shannon, and if this is maybe a sensitive topic, like I think it's something that's ever growing in our world, is faith, and the place of faith in your life, in your business, in your relationship, and stuff like that. You don't have to get any too, like, definitive topics about religion or anything, but I have a lot of family members that are diving into this part of their life, and I'm curious, even for myself, like, how do you feel like this impacts you positively, having faith, period?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, my faith's always been a huge part of my life. I grew up in the church my whole life, and obviously the whole being married to a woman of it all is a story for a different time. But yeah, that my faith's massively important to me, and the community that we have around us is huge. Like when it comes to the decisions that I make with my wife, and we make in business, and just throughout life. Um, for me, it always comes back to a starting point of like just prayer and meditation and figuring out like, is this the way that I think God's leading me in my life? And if it is, he'll work it out and provide the doors opening, and whatever I need to go that way. And if not, then he'll make that clear too. And I think that was kind of a big part of being able to make this leap into entrepreneurship, was just feeling a big sense of peace about that, and sense of like I have this passion all of a sudden for this thing that I never thought I would care about. And yeah, I think it impacts the way that I also just like want to be around people. Like I see a lot of purpose in what we're doing, and purpose in the life that I think I'm meant to live. And so when I feel a little uncertain about something, or I'm stressed or having a rough day, I think I lean a lot back into that of just like, hey, like I'm here for a reason. I'm doing what I'm doing for a reason. And even on the harder days where you guys both know entrepreneurship isn't a walk in the park by any means, it's a lot of hard work and
What?
times. I actually posted this on Instagram the other day. I saw a quote that I really liked, and it said,
I was going to bring up this
"You are."
quote. Thank you. I literally have it right in front of me.
Yeah,
Oh, you can't see it, but
I feel
yeah.
like this is
Okay,
where
say
this
it.
question came from. Yeah, I read this quote, and it said that you are currently living at least one of one of the prayers that you used to pray. At least one of the things going on in your life right now is something that you used to wish for and you used to pray for. And I really reflected on that, and I was like, yeah, like that's exactly true. I'm happily married. I'm I have so much freedom in my time. I feel like I have a career with purpose. And those are all things that, like, 20-year-old me was like, "Ah, I hope that works out someday. I don't really know." And
That's
it
amazing.
just kind of really made me pause and just be grateful, have some gratitude towards that. Because obviously there's a lot that I still want to do. There's a lot of growing, both personally and professionally, that I'd like to do. But it's a good reminder just along the way to stop and kind of realize like, hey, there's a lot of things in my life I need to be grateful for that, you know,
Gratitude
I didn't
is
I didn't
probably one of the most powerful things.
Yeah. And enjoying the journey. Like, yeah, there's places you want to go, but like where you are, it's not so bad.
I
Oh
know
my
that
goodness.
your wife mentioned something about this, Ben, but we both kind of have, or all of us probably have religious raisings to some degree.
Oh yeah.
I think when we talk about our passions and just like how we want to go about our business, I feel like it does stem from that, the root of all that, whether we're practicing or faithful into whatever regard someone wants you to be or whatever. It's still the basis of who we are, our morals, our values. I think it is for me. I don't know about you, Ben, but I see it in you still.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the Coles Notes version of my dad was an avid church goer. I wanted something to do while we were at church because I was bored out of my mind. So I was an altar boy and then had a little piano in me. So I played some piano at church and went to Catholic school, the whole 9 yards. And like, I never really felt this huge connection to it, but like, I think, besides some of the more controversial church values, I think at the base of it, like be kind to everyone. You never know what everyone else is going through. So like, put kindness out into the world it sticks with me because I think if everyone put kindness into the world, it would be a pretty happy place. Right. So,
I think that's it.
while yeah, yeah, we'll leave it that.
No, man. I think just the basis of that.
Yeah.
If everybody was just putting good attitude, good or that happiness into the world, it does breed happiness. That's the kind of the message from the church that I have grown up with, and I appreciate it. I didn't really have a lot of that nuance growing up. Controversially, maybe because I'm a white male and I'm privileged, but
Yes.
I did take from that just
Oops.
be kind, be a good person, gratitude, those type of things. And so I carry that with me still, I think. Yeah. We're raising kids, and I think that's our job in trying to change that stigma or that narrative, right? Like that is, especially because I do have two boys, and I want to see them grow up into a world where they can be proud of who they are, but also make a difference and support other people and be good people. That's what I aim for. How well I'll do, I have no idea. We'll see. It's a toss-up, it feels.
I think you're on.
Between you and Emily. Yeah.
You're giving me too much credit, guys. I'm sorry, I'm just going a little bit off of the stuff that I had written down beyond faith, because I know you had a little bit of leadership roles in your faith world too, Shannon. How do you
Mhm.
actively carry yourself as a leader, even when you're changing your job and you're kind of new into an industry? How do you practice being a leader still? Like, where are you practicing that in your life?
Ooh, good question. Yeah, I do. I like leadership roles. I don't I don't like being the center of attention, but I like leadership, and so like it's kind of like weird push pull sometimes. But um, I really love learning from people. Like I like seeking out people in an area that I'm passionate about and just learning from them. And then if I can then help somebody else that's coming along behind me do the same thing, I love that. So for example, like right now, at the church that I go to now, I play on the worship team. I play guitar and I sing sometimes. And I've played guitar for a long time, but I'm not like a good guitar player. Like I'm a real good like G form, cheat with a capo kind of person. Um, but I really love it. Like guitar is really it's a passionate thing for me. You talk about like the way that we connect with our faith, and music's always been a big one for me. And there's a guy that I play with sometimes that's much more experienced. He's been in bands, like he's a very very talented guitar player. And so sometimes if we're there on a Sunday morning before we really get started with practice, we'll just like noodle around a little bit. He'll teach me a few things, and I love that. Um, but then conversely, we also have there's somebody that comes out that's just learning to play guitar and will come just to practice with us sometimes, and be able to like help her out too is really exciting. Um, and then yeah, I guess like in business, like we're constantly growing, we constantly have new people around. So anywhere that I can lend a hand here and there on just like things that I've already been through that somebody else is kind of coming behind me through. I love being able to just share that with them and encourage people along the way. Be like, hey, like I get it, I've been there. I know what that feels like, and here's what's cool after that, or here's, don't make the mistake I made. Learn from my mistakes, and maybe it'll be a little bit easier for you. But um, yeah, I guess when it comes to any kind of leadership stuff, I love the passing of knowledge. I love learning from other people that have experience that I haven't had, um, and then I love being able to pass that down to other people, kind of wherever I get the chance to. So,
So I've kind of a silly question for you. It's Friday night. You're sitting around the campfire. The guitar's sitting there. What song are you playing?
oh, my go to is "Wagon Wheel" by Darius Rucker, just because it's like the easiest
Love it.
song to play.
I was expecting another
I
WW song to come up, to be honest. If you guys know what I mean.
I don't.
Wonderwall?
oh
My
I
gosh, yes.
actually don't know how to play Wonderwall, which is really ironic because I know it's
Good
like
for
the
you.
most cheesy song that people play. Yeah, I learned how to play Wagon Wheel a long time ago, and now it's just like I love the rhythm of it. So that's kind of my go to if I'm just messing around, or yeah, like playing around the fire or something like that.
Nice. I feel like we're going to form a band.
Nice.
I'm probably the least talented out of
Do
all of
you
you,
have
but
any? We
drums,
need a
that's all I
drum
can
roll.
play. I'm terribly untalented. I cannot sing. Drums would be the only thing. I can bang stuff in
You
repetition.
could sing. Use auto tune for everything.
Yeah, auto tune. Thank you.
You're good. You're good.
I haven't
Ben,
tried that
what's
one
your
yet.
go to?
Oh gosh. I'm gonna date myself a little bit, but probably the general from Dispatch.
Okay,
No, no one. Okay, yeah.
Lost me on that.
I mean Wonderwall. No, I'm kidding.
that's
Yeah,
amazing.
no. I had a group of friends when we were growing up around. We like worked at a canoe club, kind of like camp thing, and we got really into like this '90s band. Yeah,
Are you going to get
I
your
love
guitar
yeah.
that.
That's not.
concert
That's
now?
not, that's the end of the story. That's what's
Well, you're
that?
supposed to play it now.
Oh yeah. No, I don't know. Our podcast can't afford the rights to anything, let alone that song.
Fair.
So darn.
If you're listening and
Cool.
curious, go on YouTube. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I took
yeah.
a class in high school, and the first like big song I learned was "For Elise." Do you know that one? It's like do 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 do.
Oh yes, yeah. You're talking to a piano lesson kid over
That's the
over
only
here.
time I can still play on piano. So
Nice.
I love it.
Nice. Classic. Now, this might be like poor podcast hosting etiquette, but this is only our second recording session ever. So if you're a new listener, bear with me. But I'm curious to know what kind of like demographic of clients you seem to be working with. Like, are there a lot of millennials like coming into your life as clients, or like, you know, is it typically people like a little bit later on in life, or like where? Yeah, where are we at?
I get a pretty good mix, to be honest with you. I would say a good chunk of them are like between their mid 20s and mid 30s, probably, because it's we had a lot of clients that are, you know, done school, into their first kind of career job, and then starting to go, oh dear, what do I do if I want to buy a house? Or, oh dear, I've no idea how to get out of debt. Or we had a kid and now we have to make some decisions. And so I get a lot of people that are kind of in that stage of life, of just sort of the transitional periods of life, starting to realize like, hey, there's some things that I need to prioritize that maybe haven't been a priority before. And then on the other hand, kind of the other half, so to speak, is a lot of people looking to kind of forward. They've maybe bought the house, they've got kids and so on already, but now they're starting to switch gears and look forward to retirement and take stock of where they're at or where they're maybe not at, and realizing that they want to make some adjustments to get on track for things like retirement. So a pretty decent mix of people sort of entering into the earlier stages of adulthood and making decisions at the start, and people that are maybe a little bit further down that road, realizing that they need some help to get on track for where they want to be. As far as like ideal clients, the beautiful part of not having to charge for what we do is we can cast a really wide net when it comes to clients. And I love being able to say, like, I don't care if you've got $2 million sitting in the bank and you want to talk about like maximizing rate of return and all that kind of stuff, or if you're like 21 and just going like, hey, I'd really like to put $100 away for the future and I don't even know what that's for yet. So we take a range. Really, my ideal client is just someone that wants to take steps forward for themselves and learn. And
I love that.
We can all relate to that. Those
right.
willing to act on something and they have goals and they want to achieve it, and you're there to help them. That's what we all want. And
so as a parent, at what age am I sending my daughter to come see you?
You have to go now yourself for her, and then she goes.
Yeah, that's the right answer, actually, is it's you until she's about 18.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, realistically, like I actually have I do have a client that's 18 and literally like was trying to sit down with me at like 17 to start talking about this stuff. And I'm like, I can't do anything for you until you're 18. Right. And then we did, like, she's like way ahead of so many other people their age and just like trying to make decisions for themselves early that are going to help them. But yeah, like technically speaking, like if you want to look at either insurance or investments, like a lot of them you can't get, like a TFSA even, like you can't get until you're 18. You have to be at least 18 years old. On the insurance side, there's forms of insurance that are available to kids under the ownership of their parents. So, and there are some investment tools inside. Obviously, RESPs and stuff are intended for kids to be saving for the future. So, it just depends on what somebody's looking for. But as far as your daughter herself, yeah, she'd have to be 18. But you being able 18. To on her behalf, you can do right from the get-go. And to be honest, like I think that's an area actually I encourage a lot of people, and I'm seeing it a lot with clients that I've had for a while now that started out as clients when they were like just getting married and just trying to buy houses, and now they're having kids and going, okay, hold on, like how do I make sure that my kid doesn't come out of school in as much debt as I did when I got out of school, and how do I do the right things for them now to help them later? So there is a lot of pre-planning that can and really should be done for kids as early as possible. And then just setting them up so that when they are an adult, they can make right decisions for themselves too.
Shannon, I feel like you're speaking directly to me or at me, and it's resonating. Let's
this conversation, me and my wife with Shannon, so we know. She is talking to you because I already know all this from her.
Right.
But yeah, no, you should definitely make some time and pick her brain a little further on this because yeah,
oh my
you
God,
wouldn't
we've gone
believe.
over like 478 reasons in this hour alone
Right.
that we should be talking.
Like even from someone like myself, where I've sold investments for 7 or 8 years and sold RESPs like crazy, the insurance side is something that I've never been knowledgeable about. Like we didn't do that in the bank, so yeah, learned a lot from Shannon. She's wealth of knowledge in there on that side of things. So you will. I
I
can
love
already see it. You're
conversations
baited
about
in.
this.
Good.
Yeah, just as an aside, I like nerding out about stuff. I like learning about other industries, which is why I find like I really love connecting with Richard. And it sounds like Ben will probably be good friends after this. But yeah, I
I think
love.
so.
I'm not a teacher. My wife is. It's definitely not a field that I was ever meant to go down. But I love, yeah, like teaching people about different things when it comes to this world because there's so much misunderstanding and misinformation about how things work. Like I literally just had a conversation with someone recently who's in their 60s and thought that you could only ever put in um like that your TFSA room didn't accumulate. Right, like TFSAs, once you turn 18, you begin to accumulate room, and if you never put money into one, your room just continues to. Whereas there's a lot of misconceptions out there. People think like, oh, if I haven't put money into one, then I only have like 6 or 7 grand worth of room because that's what this year's allowed to me. And I'm like, no, like if you're 30, you've probably got like 80, 90 grand worth of room there. Like that's a completely untapped asset.
One of the most misunderstood products I found in the bank, TFSA,
And one of the most powerful ones. So, anyways, not
but most
going on
powerful.
like a
Right.
spiel. But yeah, I just love that stuff. I love talking about just how things work and how different strategies can make sense for different people and stuff like that. I'm kind of getting back to the nerd of it all, but yeah, I love that. And I love learning about other stuff and how things like real estate and mortgages and all that kind of stuff works and how it factors into someone's financial plans and so on. Cool.
So I have another silly question that, maybe we'll cut it.
Silly question guy
it
today.
doesn't make sense, but Shannon, if you were some kind of account, what kind of account would you be and why?
If I was an account, is this like an idealistic
Yes.
thing? Or I think I actually am.
Yeah, like, are you like an account for like long-term growth? Are you like, or like what, like where, I'm just throwing out terms that I hear in finances.
I honestly am like, this is like has a potential to be such a deep question. And I don't want to be wrong.
Right.
I honestly think we are just talking about it, but I think I would be a TFSA. It's like one of the most like I can't even use the right term. You really caught me with that question.
The TFSA helps everybody, no matter how much money you have, what age you are, what your goals are. The TFSA is the best product to help anyone in any scenario. Yeah,
it's like
that's
a Swiss Army knife of finance, I think, especially in the investment world, because it's like it doesn't have to be for retirement, but it could be for retirement. It doesn't have to be for higher education, but it could be. It doesn't have to be for a house, but it could be. And it's really flexible. Like you can use them for all kinds of stuff. They're really accessible. You can put $50 into one and let it grow, or you can put 50 grand into one and let it grow. Yeah, I would say if I had to be an account, I would be very, very. They have like multi-purpose.
Naturally, it's the one that you don't pay tax to the government too, so everybody likes that part.
Which is even like the best part. There's no penalties. There's no locked in like rules, and there's no taxes, which is king in this world. So.
Right. We ask the hard-hitting questions here at the open house.
You do.
Every time you say this, it gets me kind of like scared and excited at the same time.
We might need a segment called Silly Question Corner. Just
oh my gosh. You guys really should do that. That would be so fun. You're like, let me just ask like the most either silly question or just like the one that like everybody that doesn't work in like whatever the related field is would want to ask, but is like scared to ask. Because I get that sometimes too. People are like, look, like I feel embarrassed to ask this, but I don't actually know how does this work or how does this differ from that, or whatever. So I think Silly Question Corner would be a really great segment so that all the people listening can be like, thank you. I was that someone would ask that question, but I don't want to be the one to ask it.
Right. I can embarrass myself so the people out there don't have to.
This is direct feedback we just got for our podcast.
Yeah. And TFSA, for all those out there, stands for the friendliest saving avenue, right?
Sure.
And it's not TSFA. Get that a lot too.
Savings account, but it's not just a savings account. It's an investment account, and it should be used as such. Don't listen to somebody that tells you otherwise, because they're wasting your time. But yes, it's a savings account.
Love it. I have. Do you have anything? I have one more question, Richard. I don't know if
I do have a few things, but
okay,
go for it.
Okay. Well, so here, mine's kind of a quick one too. But if there was one myth around the work you do that you could debunk in a minute or less,
Ooh.
Well, hard hitting questions again from the open house.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of myths about the TFSA, but I think we already talked about those. I would say one myth I get a lot that I wish more people knew wasn't true. A lot of people assume, like, there's a lot of people that won't get life insurance because they think that, like, it doesn't pay out very often. I think there's a really low payout rate for it, and it's a waste of time. And where a lot of people get that information is from mortgage life insurance, not actual personal life insurance. And Rich, I know we've talked about this, and you're familiar with this, obviously, just with your work in mortgages. And there's different kinds of life insurance. There's permanent, there's term, there's mortgage life insurance. It's a whole different thing. And there's this bad rep that insurance gets sometimes, where people think it's like, oh, it's just a waste of money. It's a scam because it's not going to pay out anyways. And where that kind of comes from is a lot of people, if they get mortgage life insurance, they don't do underwriting up front, right? You apply for your mortgage and you apply for your insurance, and they ask you a couple of basic questions, and they go, okay, great. Based on people of a similar place in life as you, here's your rate, and your insurance will pay off the mortgage if you pass away. And then when you actually go to if you actually do pass away, that's when they do the health history on you to determine if you're actually eligible for it in the first place. It's called post-claim underwriting. So you're paying for this thing, hoping that it's protecting your family if you pass away. But then if you do, that's when they can go and look and go, oh, Ben, well, we didn't actually know this thing about you, and it would have made you ineligible for the insurance, so we're not actually going to pay it out. And obviously that irritates me.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of uncertainty in that. Whereas you go
no kidding.
Personal life insurance, if you went and got like a term policy, so if you're like, hey, I've got a 20-year mortgage, I'm going to go get a 20-year term policy on my life, they do underwriting up front, so that the insurance company will do a health questionnaire, health history on you. They may order medical tests, they may order statements from your doctor for health history to determine up front, hey, is Ben actually eligible for life insurance? And if you are, then if you pass away, assuming that you didn't commit fraud in the information that you provided them, they have to pay it out. Life insurance, like those kinds of life insurance policies, pay out over 90% of the time because it's done up front. So you know before you have it in force that you actually you were eligible for it. Because if you weren't, they'll just decline you. Whereas with mortgage life insurance, there's a lot more gray area where they can kind of go, ooh, well, actually, you didn't really qualify, and so unfortunately we're not paying that out. And that's it kind of casts this shadow over insurance as a whole, where people assume that, like, well, this is just a waste of money, why would I do this? But if you go down the right path from the start, it's typically cheaper, first of all, and it has a much higher likelihood of paying out and protecting your family the way it's supposed to. So big myth there that a lot.
Pardon my French, but like, holy shit, like that is insane.
Yeah.
That is,
to give clarity on the mortgage side, like, to get mortgage insurance, they ask you 5 questions. And if you just say no to all the questions, they'll give you insurance. There's no further, like, to that degree that Shannon's talking about. They don't go to your doctor. They don't go to any of these degrees. Unless you say yes to one of those 5 questions, then they will do a underwriting. But even that underwriting is still not to this degree. So it's a hard product for me to sell. Like, I have sold a lot of it and I have seen it work out for some clients, but I've also seen some clients struggle on the payout side. So I am a bit indifferent. It's hard to sell it. people want it or ask about it, I can give them the explanation. I've had it myself, so at least I can say I practice what I preach there. But yeah, Shannon has given me the spiel as well, and I would probably take her advice on that 100%. But that is a good stigma to banish.
I've always said it's a good bridge. Like if you're getting your mortgage and you're like, oh gosh, I need insurance, it's a quick approval that way to have something until you can go and get proper insurance. Typically with properly underwritten insurance, it's oftentimes cheaper because they're actually looking at your specific situation, not just like 27-year-old men that don't smoke kind of ranging. And it also actually pays out to your family. So that's the other piece that I'll give you a second myth just on that same train of thought. Mortgage insurance pays out to the lender to pay off the mortgage. Life insurance that you have for yourself pays out to your family. So a lot of people are like, well, what does it matter if I'm using it for the same thing? It doesn't if you're going to use it for that. But if you're someone who's just lost a spouse and you have a $500,000 mortgage, life insurance is $500,000, and it pays out to you instead of just paying off the house, you can choose how it's spent. So if you're like, hey, you know what, like I'm grieving here, I need to take a year off work because I can't handle this grief right now. I need to go to get some counseling. I need to get, some help here with this. I'll pay off some of the mortgage. I can manage it myself otherwise, but I need to make a decision better for my family. You have the freedom to do that. Whereas if it's mortgage insurance, they just pay it off to the bank or the lender that has the mortgage, and you don't have any choice over how that's used. So, there's a lot of just misconception and kind of misunderstanding about the differences on how some of that works. But yeah, to Richard's point, there's a place for it for sure, and I think it is a good bridge product for it's like, hey, like if you don't have anything, get this as a starting point. It's better than nothing. But there's some better things out there that you should explore if you can, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, that's an right?
That right there alone is like we should probably put this at the beginning of the episode just to like, man.
It's an important part you need to listen to.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody buying a house, please either do your research or talk to somebody that you trust that can give you the information on how that stuff works, because it's very different.
Well, even like having this information now as like a realtor, like I can tell, like I'll be fully honest and vulnerable and open here, but like I had no idea about any of this before today. But now if I have a client who's getting a mortgage or like buying a house, right?
No, I think Shannon's point at the beginning of this podcast, she said the importance of relationships, and this is it. This is what relationships come to. This is how you benefit all of us and our clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
And then you have been incredibly generous with your time today. I mean, I feel like we're coming out of this friends. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, but
that's what happened.
I'm gonna just put that out there.
I would say we're friends.
Thank you. Oh yes.
Right. Golden parents.
Write that down in my diary later. No big deal. Yes. Thank you so much, Shannon. Incredible insight. I mean, I feel like our values aligns. I'm going to say incredible values. And I mean, if you're thinking, not even like, you should just probably reach out to Shannon, no matter what you're thinking. Get a clear picture of where you're at and make a plan for the future.
I think when we go to post any clips or anything from this, Shannon, just give us all your contact details as well, so we can include that for anyone that found value in this and wants to reach out and have a chat, because there will be people for sure.
100%. Yeah, I will. I'll send you an email with all of my things on there as well. But honestly, thank you guys so much for having me. It's been really fun just to nerd out a little bit, to talk with you guys and connect. I think this has been a blast. And I think this is a start of a very, very successful podcast for you guys. I'm looking forward to hearing more of it with lots of other people.
Thanks.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Very excited. Looking forward to sending this to the world, honestly. Like, that's going to be the fun part.
I love it. Awesome, guys. Well, I'm going to jump off. Got to go pick up the way from work. But thank you guys so much for me. And enjoy your grief.
Cool.
Thanks, Shannon. Have a great day.
See ya.
Take it easy.
Wow.
I told you, man. I was really hyped to have her on. I think wealth of knowledge, just really good.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Not only did I think I learned probably like 50 new things throughout that hour. Great person.
At the base of it, regardless of what you learn, just great person, period.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna send her an email probably right after we hang up to be like, hey, so when are we doing this thing?
I don't think I told you how I kind of met her, but it was a bit spontaneous. She worked with my cousin at Staples years back. And when she was in her, like the current job now, she was trying to recruit him because he works at the bank as well. She tried to recruit him and he wasn't really interested, but she said he gave her my number and said, reach out to my cousin. He might fit a little bit more of what you're looking to chat about. And so she reached out to me and we just out of the blue made some time, had coffee, and we've kind of met a few times since. And just kind of looking at to be referral partners and help our clients out and share that. And we just kind of been friends that way. So total spontaneous friendship made like that.
Amazing. Great guest.
Yeah, excited.
Yes. Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, so this is our second recording. I don't know what order this is going out in, but if you've been listening, just want to say like a deep, heartfelt thank you. This like crazy little like passion project that we've got going on seems like it's been great so far. And if you guys want to follow along, make sure you subscribe on your whatever channel you're listening to this on, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. You can follow us on Instagram as well. Make sure you stay up to date because we're going to have a lot more great guests on the show, have a lot more great conversations. And well, I'm going to keep learning stuff. And I'm probably like the lowest denominator on that. So, I mean, I'm hoping some, you guys are getting stuff out of this too. So.
Yeah. And, I think comments are always welcome. If there's anyone else that you think we should interview or it would be good to have on, like we're always open to that. We do have a long list because there are so many incredible people in our community here that we want to learn more about and hear their stories and share with you guys. So please let us know if there's other people that might want to be on here. And
yeah, we'll throw some contact info in the description of these and cold email us and say like, hey, we know this really great person. They should come on your show.
It can be yourself too. If it's you want to be on here.
Yes. Or you don't have to create a new email to be like, hey,
or email
this person. Yeah.
That'd be funny.
Perfect. What was our sign? We did the sign off yesterday. What was
You said, thank you for coming to our open house podcast. I hope you had some nice snacks and enjoyed the light in the windows or something like that. I don't know.
Right. Yes. Thank you for coming to the open house. We hope you enjoyed the snacks and the beverages, took a look around, and had a great time.
You're welcome to come back the next time the house is open.
Cue the outro music.
Which we have none. Oh, shit.
We're working on it.
Get your piano going, man. It's got to be Wonderwall after this call, right?